Don in London, hello. It's August the 2nd. Where's time flying? My videos all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. Yes, addiction to either substance or behaviour. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to get going this morning. Must be the heat. Anyway, in recovery, one day at a time, that's me. My substance of addiction, alcohol, my other addictions around people, places, things to do with behaviour. Addicted to trying to be with the right people, in the right place, with the right things, doing the right things, and trying desperately to fit in. Never quite sure how I did fit in, or whether I was hearing the truth from other people, or able to tell the truth to other people about what was going on for me. Because if anybody asked me, how are you doing, I'd say fine. The simple answer, much of the time when I was drinking, I wasn't fine at all. I was just living and addicted to fear, I suspect. Fear of being found out. So I would strive harder and harder to be whatever I thought you wanted me to be. A people pleaser. So not so much a people pleaser these days, in the sense of putting myself down so that you feel right, or trying to do everything that makes you feel right, and in the process lose my own identity. And I'm in recovery one day at a time from alcohol and any other part of the behaviour addictions you can possibly mention. So if I've gone past alcohol into more what is called hard drugs, Class A's and all the rest of it, I don't even know what they are. Well, I know what the Class A's are, the most obvious ones. But if I'd gone down that route, I suspect I would have perished, because I had no defence against trying to fix myself. And that's what I did. I fixed my feelings on a daily basis by pushing them away. Didn't want to feel life too much, just wanted to feel right about what was going on. And I never realised, all through my drinking days, that alcohol was actually suppressing my feelings quite effectively. So how did I get to a place where I was drinking 24/7, couldn't stop, had no clue what to do, kept on waking up when I didn't want to wake up, and kept on feeling like, when is it going to end? When can I check out? And then I woke up one morning and thought, well, in a moment of clarity, if it can't get any worse, what do I do? I don't know. Maybe I need some help, and maybe I can genuinely ask for help. Because, you know, if recovery is going to be difficult, it can't be any worse than where I am now. How awful can recovery be compared to the awfulness of my situation where I just can't cope and I don't want to wake up? And the answer is it's no worse and no better. It just becomes better as I start to understand who I am on a daily basis and what I can do, free to make choices today without having to fix me or other people. Indeed, it's not about fixing anything, it's about letting life happen and making good choices, mending, repairing, from despair to repair, as I said yesterday. So what helps me most these days? Not listening to my own wisdom often, but listening to the wisdom of other people and sharing about it. And that's pretty much what my fellowship, I call it my fellowship, because it is my fellowship, Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm a fellow in the fellow of AA, as are many other people, and we all have a right to be there. And it's about a desire to stop drinking and stay stopped and see how life can turn out. I don't speak for AA, never can, never will, but I can share about it because it's a big part of my story on a daily basis, the fellowship of AA. But I can't talk about anybody else, which is absolutely right. It's just me and my recovery based on being in the fellowship. And if I share about it genuinely and authentically about my life experience, then it means that other people maybe see that it is possible that they can get their freedom of choice back to live life on life's terms. And it's no mean achievement to do it one day at a time. So I always take my hat off to the newcomer who can stay sober for 24 hours. That first 24 hours is absolutely abysmal. And then moving along gently, one day at a time, letting our brains settle down and start to understand what's going on, that we have emotions and a life to live, in the moment, right now. So how does AA help me? Well, I'm sharing some readings from the fellowship, and I use this little card here which describes exactly what AA does. It's exactly what it says what it does on the tin, or in the preamble as it's called. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that's it really. We are a fellowship of men and women, equal in size, no one bigger or smaller than the next, each with a set of opinions and beliefs about life. And we are unique and authentic in our own life journey. That's how it is. We are simply different. But we have this one similarity, a desire to stop drinking and share a message. So people from all walks of life are in the fellowship, and people go as often as they feel they need to keep on track with what's going on and how to live life free from addiction. And maybe I've become addicted the other way to the fellowship. I don't know that that's a bad thing if it keeps me sober, sane, letting go of trying to rule the world and just merely fitting in, or absolutely happy to fit in and be included. But the freedom of choice aspect is freedom to choose how we live our lives, what we believe in and what works for us as individuals, with this one similarity, a desire to stop and stay stopped from abusing ourselves and self-harm. And it took me a long time to get onto that understanding that I didn't have to be like other people in fellowship. All I needed to do was utilise the 12-step program to find out who I am and becoming on a daily basis. 12-step program to improve my open, honest, willing outlook to live life on life's terms. And there are 12 traditions which hold the fellowship together in unity, service and recovery. And anonymity is sacrosanct, because the fellowship, meetings, groups is a safe place to go to find out who you are and what went wrong and how to put it right, how to make restitution, all those good things. And the 8th step, which I cover in August, which follows the Daily Reflections book, which is this one. I mention it because this one, 12 steps and 12 traditions, rolled into 365 daily reflections. And they're not always obvious what they're getting at. But August, for me, is about step 8, making a list of amends to make and being willing to make them. So that's it. Looking at what I did in the past and where I need to make amends and restitution. It's not about making the amends, because that's step 9. Step 9 is about deciding how to do no harm in the process, self-harm and harm to others, in the truest sense of making people worse off by our next encounter with them if we rake up the past and it does them no good. And making amends and restitution is not about saying, by the way, this is my part in matters, so now what are you going to say back to me? It's not like that at all. We make restitution for our part in what we did, not expecting anything back from other people. Sometimes we get a good response because we've handled it with due care and attention to their feelings. And sometimes we would get a rebuke and something quite unpleasant. But that's not to deter us from making the amends or restitution, because it comes in so many different ways. And the most important one obviously is to live life sober, so we don't keep on doing the same old rubbish again and again and again. So daily reflections from that book, and then I'll talk about my daily reflections as well. Daily reflections, we become willing, and this is for 2nd of August. At the moment we are trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself, and this comes from the Big Book of AA. Yeah, trying to put our lives in order, but this is not an end in itself, because it's what's happening now and next which is going to be important. How easily I can become misdirected in approaching the 8th step. I wish to be free, somehow transformed by my 6th and 7th step work. And 6th step is understanding our defects of character. For me, primarily, fear, putting on a brave face, and a lot of ego defending whoever I thought I was. And step 7 is my shortcomings, not enough faith, courage and confidence. So letting go of the fear, the brave facing and the ego, and improving on my courage, faith and confidence leads me into the 8th step, making that list of amends and being willing to make them. Not make them straight away, but willing to. Now, more than ever, I am vulnerable to my own self-interest and hidden agenda. I am careful to remember that self-satisfaction, which sometimes comes through the spoken forgiveness of those I have harmed, is not my true objective. I become willing to make amends, knowing that through this process I am mended and made fit to move forward, to know and desire God's will for me, or to live to the good of good conscience, depending on your belief system. So we don't undermine each other's belief system. Some people are atheist, agnostic and believers, or all three depending on life circumstances. So we make our minds up about that, and it's a personal understanding of God or not God, or a higher power in your life. And as Gandhi said, this is what works for me. God is truth, and I sort of added love and wisdom in there too. Truth of the situation we are in, not my opinion about it. Love, how to love and be loved back. And wisdom, and the wisdom I get from other people. And often the truth I get from other people when I'm full of it. I can be, like anybody else. So I can become misdirected in approaching the 8th step, which is to say, I was angry and resentful in this situation because X did this to me and bullied me, or I went along with it, and the amends is to self. I went along with it because there was a big payoff in money, and sometimes when we do things for money, well, that is no reward, and what we get back is a terrible existence, driven by money or finance. Often leads us into great unhappiness, because money is just a currency. It's not a means in itself to happiness. That might sound a bit strange, but I know a lot of miserable people who are very well off, and no amount of money is going to make them happy. They thought it was, and they thought it should, but it doesn't. And I fell into that trap. The more I had, the less I felt well. And the pursuit of money kept me imprisoned in old attitudes and behaviour. Excuse me, there's pollen about. Yes. Anyway, me. I went to a step 3 chair last night, and I say let go and let good things happen. And some people say let go and let God. And some people say let go and then let in life. I say good because I need let go, knowing all the answers today. Because if I'm trying to run the show and know the answers and deliver them, I'm not listening to anybody and I'm missing the point. So letting go of knowing means I'm no longer imprisoned by my own opinions or beliefs. So powerlessness over alcohol, people, places and things is my step 1. And if I try and have power over alcohol, people, places and things, life will get unmanageable. I can't manage alcohol, people, places or things, because if I do, I'm forgetting what I'm here to do. Live to free choice, and there I am trying to take them away from people, including me. And it's the greatest freedom to make real choices just for today. Real choice today is based on how am I feeling and what can I do. And if I don't know, let go and ask somebody, what should I be doing today? And making a list of all those I've harmed and being willing to make amends liberates me from the bondage to my past. So as I write down the amends I feel I need to make. Primarily self-harm to oneself, and then all the other harm which came out of that. Relieves me of the bondage of self and my past behaviour. It also shows me what behaviour is going to get me into trouble again, where I try and take it all back and start judging the world. And that's the devil in the detail here. The 12-step program is about self-development, improving our outlook, understanding our feelings and what's going on right now. The trouble is, it's also very good at judging other people, their faults, defects and their assets. And the more we judge other people, we get out of sync with ourselves. We are starting to wish to control them, point out their faults, because that's what you want me to do, isn't it? No, absolutely not. Holding on to righteous anger and resentment kept me in the insanity of judging the world and history. So I'm very good at judging what happened, and I know my part in it. Unfortunately, I also know your part in it. But the point of the 12-step program is to improve my outlook, my attitudes and behaviour. What other people do about what they've done is their business, not mine. Unless it's law breaking, of course, in which case it's a civil issue. My part in it, always a revelation as I see it today. And of course it is my part in it. If I look outwards and also examine my attitudes and behaviour, I get a rounded picture, and when I don't know the full picture, ask, let go and let good things happen. Let go, phone a friend, ask for help, listen to the wisdom of people in the rooms of AA, and listen to the wisdom of the person on the bus sitting next to me, because they too have their share and their voice. So wisdom comes from everywhere, and often from the younger members in the world, because they're still new to the truth, and they don't bend it like as old ones do. Sharing how this is from another year, sharing how we truly feel with our partners and family and community, and I dare I say it, work, helps us with not only our spiritual progress, and spiritual progress is living in the moment and coping with it, and knowing our feelings, but theirs too. So if they know what's going on for you, we can relate. It's called empathy. Who would wish to hamper another's spiritual progress today? And sometimes, if you say to somebody, if you do that, there'll be, what are the consequences going to be? We are judging them already. But if they ask you for help, say, well, there may be some consequences, have you thought about them? Is an open discussion, which is not about me being right and them being wrong. There are no wrongs. If we look for wrongdoing and wrongfulness in ourselves, we will find it, and then we'll find it in other people too. And that's a very difficult level to live on. And another year, in our daily reflections, August focus is step 8. Making the list of people we have harmed and willing to make the amends. It can be difficult. It's our part in matters, not theirs. Steps for cleaning up our side of the street, not digging up their side of the street. And that's so true, you know. Steps for cleaning our side of the street. Sweeping clean on a daily basis. And working out what we've done well and what we could improve on. That is, what disturbed us and the gratitude for still being alive to make some choices. But not digging up other people's side of the street. Because it goes nowhere, helps no one, hinders us, causes harm, and fills our heads with other people where they live rent-free, making our lives difficult as we try to control the outcomes. I feel okay today, a bit tired. You know, it's muggy weather, August 2nd this year. We haven't had a summer yet. Well, if we did, it was in April, and now it's August. Step 8 is very good, because making the list of amends shows us the root causes of our own self-harm. Putting up with things for too long, not changing our outlook, fixing ourselves with a drink to tolerate the intolerable. So freedom of choice is not about saying I'm off and bugger you, or words to that effect. It's saying I need to change something in what's hurting me and possibly hurting others, which is not being true. It's about dealing with the falsehoods in our own lives and living Don't forget, we make compromises all the time. It's not all black and white, it's shades of grey. But that's not to undermine the philosophy. It's to be realistic, that everything takes time. We didn't just stop drinking and get well. We stopped drinking and live life as well as we can. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. So as I make progress each day, when I have pitfalls or joyfulness, I have to remind myself of can do, can't do, and wisdom to know the difference. What I can do today and what I can't do today, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's the very essence of the serenity prayer, which is either a meditation, a prayer, an exhortation to a higher power, or simply just your good conscience. And it works, because it works in the moment of now. It's a timeless asset for anyone, anywhere. And you don't have to believe in anything but what you believe in. And that's the most important part, being true to oneself. And it's okay not to know. Indeed, I don't know. What do I know? I barely know what is good for me on a daily basis. So I'm happy with that. So the serenity prayer, which helps me at any time of any day. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, always in the moment and just for today.